Hi there, just want to show you one of our new top-end solar battery storage installations. This client's had 14 integrated panels across the rear elevation. Obviously with this particular installation as a whole, the customer wanted, it's a quite large property, he wanted the ability to store and discharge the energy in accordance to the property's demands. So what we've done here, we've installed an SPH 5000 BL UP, two 6.5 kilowatt batteries to aid the electricity storage. The way this system will work is panels on the roof produce surplus power throughout the day. That power gets put back towards the property's distribution board. Anything that's not used obviously runs through the system, and there's a clamp on the main supply linked back to the inverter, and the inverter will dictate how much of that surplus energy to put back into the batteries. So as it stands at the minute, the batteries are charged at around about 30%. I've got the solar turned off at the moment because I'm running a load analysis on the system, ready for obviously powering up the system itself for energisation. With these systems nowadays, to be compliant with ESS regulations, batteries can no longer be mounted within the roof space without the means of additional boarding for access and additional light and additional smoke, and it should only be installed there as a last resort. In this scenario, the client's got them in the garage. So what we've done here, we've inverted obviously put the inverter on, wired from the roof space down to obviously the underside of the isolator. And now for fire safety regs, we're not allowed to install external DC isolation if there's an integrated DC isolator within the inverter. And the reason for that is the DC isolation is prone for causing fires because of arc protection. So what they say is, if as long as there's a mechanical crimp, then and there's an integrated isolator, you don't need external DC isolation now. We've installed an AC isolator and a generation meter. The generation meter accumulates everything the system produces, it pushes it through the meter and then back to the supply board. The isolator is just to locally isolate the electrical equipment, basically. This here, again, it's part of the new ESS storage regulations. It's a Gene Muller fuse contact switch. So what happens is, the batteries are aluminium chassis. If there's a fault with the system, we need to be able to isolate the batteries externally without touching the equipment themselves. All we do, we can pull that to the out position, and in there you can get 80, 125 or 160 amp quick blow fuses. Basically, they protect the batteries and protect the system should you have any power surges, voltage fluctuations, or issues with the cells in the battery themselves. Each battery in this particular product are 6.5 kilowatts each. You know, obviously you've got 13 kilowatts of storage within the two. They'll only discharge or charge up to 4 kilowatts per hour on the BL UP range. So it means you can fill these up in the off-peak period perfectly ample within that 4-hour Octopus Go tariff. Some of the newer tariffs like the EDF Energy and the EDF Flux, they allow, I think it's around about 4 or 5 hours off-peak charge facility. So you could potentially fill these up in the off-peak period, but the tariffs are changing all the time. And as long as you've got the equipment in situ, you don't actually need PV in order to get this system to work. It can work purely on force charging the batteries, discharging at peak costs, basically. So a lot of people are using these systems nowadays to arbitrage energy. So you'll see a lot of systems that we do, you know, the 3 and 4 batteries in terms of size and capacity, just because people have got quite high energy usage in that off-peak, also in their peak usage period. So with these themselves, they're a phenomenal bit of kit to have on the property, and they certainly aid electricity consumption, because for every kilowatt you're saving in the batteries, it's a kilowatt that you're not having to pay for imported electric, basically. So if you can fill and discharge your batteries once per day, the current cost of electric is between 26 and 30 pence a kilowatt. You know, you could be saving £3.50, £4 a day just filling these up and discharging them late evening. So in relation to the systems as a whole, they pay for themselves in a very short period. But I just wanted to quickly show you one of the new Growatt SPH 5000 BLUP inverters. just to show you what you should be expected from an installation should it be done for a reputable and competent installer. So any questions, please get in contact with us and we'll discuss it further. Speak to you soon. Take care.